if you're after the most luxurious Supermini on the market, then really you need look no further than the Volkswagen Polo. That's because it actually just feels like a Golf, only in miniature. Actually, miniature is probably the wrong word, because inside the Polo's almost as spacious as its bigger brother. For instance, if you look in the back, you see there's a decent gap between the front and rear seats, which means that adults should be able to stretch out, well, within reason. But interior space isn't the only good thing about the Polo. It also has a quality feel that you just don't get on any of its rivals. For instance, everything you touch has an upmarket feel to it. And then the switches and dials have this VW solidity. I've never felt indicator stalks that are as pleasant to use as these. And then there's the glove box. Now, on some other small cars, you open them and they flop down, but not on the Polo. It's damped like on some luxury car, and the space inside is actually very usable. And because I've got no other props, I'm just going to illustrate that with my dirty trainers. And amazingly, it can actually fit in there, which means that your glove box can double as a shoebox.
The boot is very practical too, and because the rear seats fold down completely flat, the low bay is among the most useful of any Supermini. But that's not all.
There's a removable boot floor, which means you can keep any valuables hidden and out of sight.
But the little VW isn't just practical, it's also good on the move too.
The Polo is a very easy car to drive because the controls such as the steering, gearbox and clutch are all nice and light. Also, it's very comfortable because the suspension does a great job of ironing out all the bumps in the road.
As for engines, well, the 100 brake horsepower TSI Turbo is the pick of the range, as it makes the Polo feel genuinely swift. However, this car has the entry-level 1.2 3-cylinder petrol, which you should try to avoid if you can, as it's quite noisy and spoils the Polo's otherwise excellent refinement.
Now, if I accelerate, you'll hear that it makes a noise like a diesel almost. It's got a rattle to it, hasn't it? As for the downsides, well, there is one, and it could be a biggie depending on your point of view, and it's that while the Polo handles securely, predictably and safely, it's not actually that exciting to drive. And if having fun when the road gets twisty is your thing, you're probably better off looking at, say, a Ford Fiesta or a Mazda 2. But if that's not really a thing, the Polo should be an excellent choice thanks to its premium feel and, of course, its rather desirable image.